how to remove a stuck oil pan. There's many tutorials online how to remove an oil pan. But for the average person, the main problem you're going to come across is once you remove all of the little bolts that go around the oil pan is then stuck. It is fused to the upper oil pan. So it's either one of two things. One, you have an oil pan that was fused together with some type of RTV sealant. Or two, you have an oil pan that was fused together with some sort of oil pan gasket. In either case, if it's stuck, in my case, I have a Mercedes. This is fused together by an RTV sealant of some type. There's a lower oil pan, the upper oil pan. There's a little space on the side of the oil pan for you to stick something in. Potentially get a hammer and lightly tap it in. And now you're able to pull downwards. You could pry on it a little bit. The problem is it's stuck. So what you're gonna have to do, I prefer these. You could get these at Harbor Freight for not that much. These are, it's a heat gun. I believe it's for a plastic welder. And it gives you a lot of precision because again, you have to look out. Around the corner, you have a serpentine belt. It's hard to see, it's underneath the undercarriage, but there's a serpentine belt right where I'm pointing. And you have a lot of rubber hoses, so you want to be very careful. This thing gets red hot, this heat gun, okay? But it does have a tip on it, which makes it a bit more accurate. And remember, anything this metal touches, it's really hot, so be very careful when you're underneath your car, okay? And basically, just turn on the heat gun and go right along the seams. Be very careful for the first half that you're working on. Hit it with some heat and just gently pry on it. Take your time with it and you should be okay. Again, you want to be very careful not to let this metal touch any rubber hose because this metal is very hot. Also be very careful where you're pointing this because this air that's blowing out is really hot. It's almost like fire, okay? I would say just hit it with heat on the first half that you're working with and eventually it's gonna break loose. And at that point, you should be okay. If you want, you could take a little bit bigger of a breaker bar of some type, but that is the hardest part. That is the tip of the day. Just be careful where you're burning, take your time, and you should be okay. Till next time.